from part-time, okay? And now I'm a CEO of LeadGL Inc. So remember, it's how to pronounce it's LeadGL. So everybody asks how to pronounce. Okay? So, and, right, so I would like to start with this. Who are they? Have you seen this?
Yes.
Okay, yes. They have something in common. It's okay.
So they
This guy?
started,
Yeah.
they build their business when they are older.
Right. Yes. Yeah. They started the business, which is very different from their career. Yeah. At the very late stage of their life. Okay. So one is this is Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken. He started the global business at age 65. Although he had to do the cooking since he was very young because the family was limited. Yeah. So he was helping out his mother. Yeah. But the real business, but he was doing all kinds of different work. And at age 65, he actually determined to start Kentucky Fried Chicken. And this one, Asako Okamiya, she actually launched iPhone app at age 82. Age 82. And she was long time working in bank. She's just a white collar banker, never on IT, right? And she started to learn like a programming, simple programming after she retired, and at 82, right? She launched, to help the elderly people for the mental health or for fulfillment of the life. So that she becomes very famous. Okay. And why I bring this out is because I started my business because I was a long time R&D scientist. Okay, for more than 30 years. Then I started the business at the age, I think it was 56. Okay, so big determination, but that's a talk today. Okay. So as I said, so I graduated 1991, and my first work is Sumitomo. It's a Japanese chemical company. So I was an engineer. Okay. Then at that time I couldn't speak English at all. Yeah. And my company somehow, Dow Chemical, which was at that time I think it was one of the largest chemical company at that time, got the 50% of the stake onto that business. Okay, then my company, small company, became 50-50 joint venture, and I became very interested in the business and the science. Okay, then I moved on to the P&G. Okay, so after 7 years, and all the time I was in science R&D. Okay, then I came back to Japan during COVID 2021 because family reason we had to come back from Singapore. Okay, then at that time, so the job only available was the marketing job in the BASF German chemical company. So, and I said to the hiring manager that I don't have any marketing experience, but you're fine. You know the chemistry, you know the cosmetics. Yeah. Well, then okay, let me try. Then, as soon as I started the job, oh my God, I don't know the business. That's the problem. Okay, I'm the head of marketing. What is this? Kind of thing. Then somehow I found GLOBIS advertisement on probably Facebook. Yeah. Then I don't remember what I clicked to get the free trial class. That's how I got it. Then 2024, last year, January, we launched our company. Yeah. So that's the education company. Yeah. So that's the whole story. Then the other thing is I had one of the science that prominent is I contributed to this book chapter. This is Cosmetic Science and Technology. It's published probably 2016. Yeah, now it's still very popular among the scientists in this cosmetic science disciplines. Okay, and also, as I said, I had 1 year in Texas, 1 year in Ohio, and 9 years in Singapore. So that's my experience. So then the business we started, the LeadGL Academy, this is the growing Japanese kids and the youth to be a more globally, competitive or global mind and the leadership skill, more like authentic leadership. So that's the concept. And today so that's this, right? So authentic leadership through entrepreneurial program and in English to develop Japanese. And today I'm going to talk about 3 stories. Okay, 3 stories. Mastering from loving science to touching people's life, and the conviction to start and the humility to stay. Right. The first story is, of course, mastering. Yeah. So I have 2 things that I have mastered as a professional. One is science, particular science. I will talk, and the other one is the English. Yeah. Anybody is a scientist here? Oh yeah. Oh yes. What's your discipline? Science.
Medicine.
Medicine. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. So in MBA, it's a scientist minority. Yes. Yeah. So what is a world class in science? To become world class in the science in your discipline, what does it mean?
Publishing the worldwide papers, or it is very important for me as a scientist.
Like a nature.
Nature, but I have no paper in nature or science.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's one. Or the other one is maybe getting a PhD in that discipline. Yeah. Okay. So as I published the book, then since that I published the book, I started getting more invitation to give a lecture in universities as well as the international conference. So that's I could say, I'm recognized, kind of, yeah. So so how I got here to be this level, yeah. It was my 11th year in the P&G work, and it was 5th year in the hair care R&D. So I was, shampoo, conditioner, treatments, that kind of development. And I became very interested in the particular molecular assemblies. Molecular assemblies. You don't need to understand this, but this one is the cream, right? Hair conditioner on a hand. Inside, if you look at by microscope and through magnifying, you cannot see it by microscope, but the molecule assembly is like this. So it's very specific molecular assembly. So all the companies like Kao, Shiseido, Johnson & Johnson, P&G, L'Oreal, everybody use this molecular assembly, this particular way to organize the formulation, okay, for decades. But the science itself was not well understood, okay? So, but somehow, everybody can make a product, great product. But still, let's say, try to make a little bit cheaper or higher viscosity or lower viscosity, or I want to make a more like a heavier feel, I want to make a more lighter feel here. It's not easy. It's more like a trend error. There was no systematic science understood, okay? So that's why because I was working on using this and to develop the product. So I was getting interested in the science itself. So I started reading a lot of papers, published the papers, okay? Then, right, so this is like a reading papers with a beer, typically. So I started, of course, during the work. But as I get interested in more, like I started reading a paper on the train and at home, or even like a vacation. My kids is somewhere in the beach. This is the Indonesian Bintan Island. Okay, So that's how I was very much involved in this science. Okay, so I spent a lot of time studying this. Then, yeah. Then, for example, right. So then I decided to write a review paper. Okay, because I don't have a PhD. So one way to be recognized outside is to write a paper. But since working in R&D, it's very difficult to publish something in secret. Right? That's why I decided to write a review paper and reading a lot of paper. Then, actually before review paper, so I was actually reading a lot of reports that it's duck, yeah. The P&G scientists have accumulated for the last 20 or 30 years. Okay, so because there was not systematic understanding inside the R&D as well. So then I, read and basically try to summarize with the internal report as well as the externally published papers. So that thick report became very hit, very popular. Okay, people appreciate it, and until then, basically this writing the paper, I did all the weekends. Yeah. Because if I tell my boss, hey, I'm doing this, then the boss must have said, stop. You need to work on the product development, not in a summary report, okay? So, but the report itself was a hit, okay? So then after that internal report, then I started devoting to the, to publish the external paper, okay? The review paper. Then one time, I met in the conference. I met one person, Dr. Sakamoto. Okay, he's the research fellow of Chemical Society of Japan, very recognized person. And he told me that he's planning to organize one book, so that's thick book, right? And he was looking for more contributor. Then I show, here's what I'm writing. This might be useful for a book. Then he took my manuscript, and a few days later he came back to me and can I use this for the book chapter? Yes, please, yes. And I started working on a book chapter writing. It took about 2 years because it's all weekend work. Yeah. So then the book was published, right? And actually one summer, actually 2 summers, I stayed behind in Singapore as a staycation to read and write while my family was back in Japan. Yeah. So everybody was happy, by the way, at that time. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's how I worked on the publishing a book. Then I started receiving all the invitation. So that's one mastering. The second mastering is actually the English. Yeah. So when we started to learn English in a secondary school in Japan. Yeah. And I really hated to study English, and I still remember the first year in the high school, senior high school, which means grade 10. Yeah. One day, actually, our teacher, Japanese, person, English teacher, she brought one native speaker one day. When it was, everybody's interested, right? It was first time, long time ago, yeah? So then our teacher actually couldn't communicate with that native speaker at all. I was shocked, right? What? And of course I didn't understand, but it was obvious she couldn't actually communicate. Yeah. So then, so what does it mean to learn English? Was I completely lost the motivation, and it became, my score became very bad. Okay. And even at university, I was very bad. And I got a job. The first year, as I told, the company became the American 50% company. Then all of a sudden, everybody take a TOEIC test. Yeah, it's mandatory, right? okay, okay, talk. I don't understand at all, right? It's almost randomly picking, right? So, oh, by the way, going back to this is the biochemistry textbook. First page, I think it is the first page. You see, can you see that's very basic words. Participate in roles, serve us, I didn't understand those basic words before technical words. University third year, right? Well, against or defend. Yeah, I didn't know the basic words. How bad I was, right? Then, yeah, the TOEIC in the first year in working, my score was somewhere 300s. It's almost like a randomly picking, out of 4 or out of 3. Yeah. So that's how I was bad. Then one day, actually my boss just casually talked to me, we are thinking about sending someone to the US for 1 year for research. Okay, and interesting. And why are you talking to me? Kind of, But right? But yeah, so he actually told me, if you learn English, you have a chance. Okay. And then all of a sudden, and maybe within 1 day or 2 days, I don't remember, but no, I decided to spend a lot of money to go to the private English school. Yeah. Then I started taking lesson, one-on-one lesson, 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah, very intensive. And actually, I put a lot of priority on learning English, and so I gave up a lot of things. For example, like dating with my girlfriend. Now she's my wife. And coaching an orchestra and orchestra conductors. Yeah. So then, actually, not just taking lesson. So I brought all the study material to the teachers. Like, okay, I want to do this research presentation in the next week. So I basically use the teacher to practice. Yeah, yeah, almost like a teacher didn't have any a curriculum. Yeah. So that's how I use it. Then eventually I got the US assignment. 1 year in Freeport, Texas. It's very countryside, Freeport, Texas. And I shared with my favorite teacher. Then he all of a sudden said, "Oh, I'm from Texas. Let's speak a Texan accent." Then I couldn't understand. Yeah, I can't really imitate Texan accent, but it's very different. Yeah. Yeah, and so then I went to Texas. Freeport. It's a 1 hour drive from Houston. Yeah. Then 1 week, very early week, probably first week. So in a group meeting. So people are talking, right? So I couldn't follow the discussion. Yeah, yeah. Then, this is a problem. Yeah, because I'm here for work. Yeah, and I decided to stop. Yeah. So can you say that again? It's first time I think I needed a lot of courage to ask. But it's actually people seems to appreciate I'm honest. So then people helped me out. So it took extra hours, but that's how I started. Yeah. So then right. And the other thing I realized is because of research and development, the work is very solitary. Yeah, you work alone basically. You're reading paper, calculating, analyzing data, doing experiments. Well, of course there is a meeting, but not much. Yeah, so that was the problem. I realized. I don't think I can improve my English through the work. Yeah. Then I decided to spend more intentionally outside of the work, more like talking to people. So initially, I was Walmart, talking to the shelf keepers, just ask more questions, yeah, or cashier, ask more questions, yeah. And eventually, then I found the sports bar, and so I can spend a pretty good time to talking to local people. Yeah. The other thing I had experience is I was asked by boss back in Japan to become an interpreter in one global conference within the company. So the people come from Germany and from north of US and from Japan and from Netherlands as well. So because the one person from Japan, the manager of quality assurance, doesn't understand English at all. So I tried, 4 days global conference. I stopped my R&D work and I come to the quality assurance meeting. I did okay job to help him. Then went back to the R&D. One of the friends told me, oh Toshi, your English improved a lot during the 4 days. Whoa, really? Oh yeah. Then I think I'm more comfortable now. Yeah. So, but I remember the last day of the 4-day meeting. There is a dinner, right, with the global team, right? And it's all kinds of random talk. Yeah. Then I was sitting against the one lady from Michigan, Midland, Michigan, from North. From North, they speak very fast. Yeah, and a different accent than Texas. By the time I was comfortable with the Texan accent. So then, in the middle of the conversation, she said to me, Toshi, you're quiet. Yeah, I'm quiet because I don't follow any conversation. That was shame, right? So that's really, gave me, oh, I need to learn a lot more, outside of work. Yeah. So basically, I would say I created my own English immersion program. Right? I immersed myself into the language intentionally, so that helped. It's not the fact that I was in the U.S. itself was not very helpful. Yeah? I immersed myself into the language. That was the key. Okay. And when I came back to Japan, I kept that habit. This was before internet time. Okay, so it's not easy to find the English article on the internet, right? So I was subscribing to this, magazine, Scientific American and this Chemical Engineering News. It is a bi-weekly, I think, magazine. It's shipped from the U.S. physically. So that's how I, kept my motivation to learn English, use English, because these subjects are interested to me. And also I got this, recently, Palm Pilot, first generation. It's called a PDA, Personal Digital Assistance. I think it's calendar, address book, to-do list, calculator, that's it. Yeah. So this forces me to use English, as well as I kept the habit of taking a memo in English. So then, when I got married, my wife said actually in very early days, you are talking in English during sleep. Oh, okay, that's a good sign. Yeah. So I said this English and science. I spent a lot of time, yeah. And later, I found this article on the Scientific American. It's Expert Mind. It's actually based on the research by Carl Erickson. He's basically saying 10,000 hours of deliberate practice is what you need to get to the world-class level. And plus 10 more years of practicing. Okay? And also this book, basically talking about the same subject. Then the deliberate practice is not just doing. For example, if you're tennis, not just enjoying tennis. okay, my backhand is not good, trying to improve this kind of ball, very focused practice to improve your particular skill. So that's a deliberate practice. And do that for at least 10,000 cumulative hours. Yeah? 10,000, or do you know how many years? Right? We'll come back to those. Okay. And plus 10 more years to actually nurture your skills. So after I read this, I became interested in, did I do that in English? Okay, then I basically tried to guess how many hours I spent during the daytimes, weekdays, and weekends. Rough estimate. Okay, in that year, so 1991, I started working. English 0, yeah. And this was the time 1 year I was in the US. Yeah, I intentionally used English. And at that time, this one, I kept the habit, right? 860, that was TOEIC when I got the job for the PNG. Yeah? At that time, I did not need the interpreter for the interview. Yeah? And I kept those habit. By that time, it's past 10,000 years. Yeah? That's 10,000 hours. Yeah? So the other thing is the science. So 2004 is where I moved to hair care R&D from the other category. So then, all of a sudden I was becoming interested in that, molecular assembly, science. Then I studied. And this was the time I was promoted to principal scientist within PNG, pretty recognized top scientist. And then I studied. And then when the book was published, it was like probably exceeded 20,000 hours of particular science study. So, what it takes to get to 10,000 hours? Does anybody trying to master something related to your work, or related to hobby, or music instrument, or sports, or any skills related to work? What do you have, David?
Learn Japanese, so that I can work in Japan.
Oh, Japanese language. Okay. Anybody? Yeah, Jonathan?
I would say the same with Japanese, and I tried to do it for a while with fencing, but
Dancing?
Fencing.
Okay.
But I stopped.
Okay.
I have to take it up.
Okay. Did you raise your hand? Yeah.
Same.
Same language?
Japanese.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Japanese.
Okay. Good. All right. Okay. All right. So let's look at what 10,000 hours means. So let's say typical student, good student. Let's imagine language. 2 hours study or lesson, 5 days a week, no holidays. Yeah, you keep doing. Yeah, even Christmas or Obon holidays. How many years does it take? 19 years. Yeah. Well, 2 hours, 5 days a week, pretty good student, right? Yeah. What about adults? 2 hours a day, very intensive, right? If you try to learn violin, for example, 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, but of course you have a vacation 20 days. It's gonna take 27 years to get to 10,000 hours. That's why adult can never learn new skills. Yeah, it's not about the difference in the brain. It's about how much time you actually put into it. That's in neuroscience. It's already proved. It's about the time. It's not the difference in the brain. Okay. Who is this? 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, no holidays. Practicing one thing. Hmm?
Passionate.
Athlete maybe, yeah. Very passionate. Yeah.
Unemployed.
Huh?
He can be unemployed as well.
Yeah. Okay. Your have been like this. Baby. Yes. Baby learn language. 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it takes 3.4 years to take $10,000. Right? 3 years old kids speaks pretty well, right? Yeah? That's, for language lesson, that's what you need. Yeah? And any other things, like, well, I want to learn cello, is this. After I knew this, I was an amateur conductor in an orchestra for a long time, okay? And I estimated, since like a high school and university in the community orchestra, how much time did I spend? Not much. Far less than 10,000 hours. Yeah? That's why I'm still amateur in a conducting orchestra. Yeah? So the other thing is, yeah? Okay, so what's the difference between the students, adult, baby? It's this. It's how many hours per day.
Motivation,
Right, motivation
concentration,
or determination. Because here, 7 or 4 or 5, it's not much difference. You cannot increase more than 7 per week. Yeah? This makes a big difference. How many hours per day? That's the key. Yeah. To become really mastering something. And self-discipline or determination, to secure the time to practice. No? Okay. Right. All right. Yeah. So, okay. So that's the mastering. Okay. The second story is about from loving science to touching people's life. So this coming to more like a cohort. Okay. So this was the book I found at the bookstore. Okay. When I graduated high school, I was not accepted by any universities. Okay, I failed all the exams. Okay, and I didn't know what to do, where to go, and I realized I didn't know what I want to do in a university or for the work. Yeah, so I was basically trying to find, myself or my motivation, my interest. Yeah. So then one day I just found this book. It's called Genetic Toxins. It talks about the environmental mutagens endanger future generations. So now it's called endocrine disruptor, if you haven't heard. So it's a toxin that exists, some of the plastics are talked about like this, yeah? So, but at that time, it was not well known. So then this became my motivation. Okay, this is a science very interesting, and it's important to protect the people and the environments. So that's why I got interested in this area. So I went to the university in biotechnology. Okay, and then I became interested in science and chemistry. So I continued all the science and chemistry, mainly chemistry. So then, yeah, biochemistry, plastic development, then feminine care, baby diaper, adult diaper. So the adult diaper, have anybody taken care of adults with incontinence? Any experience? No. You also? Okay.
Grandparents.
Grandparents. Can you describe your experience briefly?
It's more of, a lot of times they just feel the shame of having to go through that again.
Yeah, shame. Yeah, right. It's a shame, yeah? But so you are taking care of your grandparents, okay?
Whole family was.
Yeah, right. So, actually, So it's adults. This was more heavy case, right? So they cannot get up. Yeah. So they need somebody to take care to change the diaper. Yeah. So I was working on diaper development, basically trying to improve this performance, because at that time still adult diaper is very difficult compared to a baby diaper. Yeah. It's a lot of leakage frequencies. Yeah. And when it leaks, it's pretty bad. Yeah. And it's a shame for the person. And a lot of time, the person who are cared at home, usually the housewife, Japanese, housewives take care of their parents or either parents-in-law. Yeah. So that's the reality. So I worked with at hospitals and nursing homes with the professional caregivers. So we brought a prototype, new diapers and tested in a hospital. And basically we were in a shift, right? So 24 hours operation, and we go to each bed every 3 hours, change diapers, bring used one, packed, and freeze it, bring back to the laboratory, analyze. Yeah. So that was work. But it's not just a product development. It's more like, how to call it? It's a humanitarian work. Yeah. It's because it's a product. It's related to more like a human dignity. Yeah. So that was the realization, how the consumer product development is cosmetic versus, this diapers. Why this? Yeah. So that was the big change in me. There is something more meaningful work here. Then after this, the company actually sold this to other company, the business. Then I moved to hair care around the more beauty side. Okay, I was working on this, and I was working on this. Yeah. Yeah. So beauty, but the science itself is interesting, right? So that's why I devoted so much time. Then, yeah. So then, hold on. Right. So, hold on. Where? Yeah. So yeah. Right. So then the science, right? When I was in P&G, because I was doing the science, that's so interesting. I really wanted to have a PhD. Okay, that's like, I was not interested in MBA at all at that time. My friends, took MBA. So why MBA? Yeah. So then I came to Japan and became marketing manager. That's why I became more interested in MBA, right? Then actually, in the BASF work, I'm marketing the cosmetic ingredients to the cosmetic company. Like I used to be in the P&G scientist, why then P&G became one of the customers. Because I was selling the ingredient to the cosmetic company. Kao, Shiseido, those are our customers. But looking at the cosmetic industry reality, it's all the product is more than enough. Yeah, all the basic products are good enough, functionally good enough. Yeah, and the brand is charging a lot higher price. Yeah, but what's working is basically the same. Yeah. So knowing that, actually, I knew that fact, but realizing that's what we are doing, and compared to my experience with the adult diaper, right? That's more like trying to meet the basic human needs. So then I was asking myself, is this cosmetic ingredient marketing, is this what I want to do for the rest of my life until retirement? Then the answer was clearly no. Okay? And at that time, I was already taking the pre-MBA courses. Yeah? Then I was about to apply for the MBA course. you know what they call the kokorozashi essay, one of the essays, right? So you have to describe what you want to do for the rest, for your life or for the society, right? Then I recalled, yes, I wanted to improve the Japanese education. That was my kokorozashi back in probably 2017, 2018, while I was still in Singapore, because my younger daughter was in the international school, which I saw is very different from Japanese standard education, which is the international school is very good. And yeah, then also I worked with a lot of talent from all over the world, right? In PNG, in Singapore, because I think I had probably 30 or 40 nationalities in one building, yeah? So then at that time, I actually tried to start a small business, yeah, to try to help Japanese kids. But no business knowledge, it's just trying, but it's no way, yeah? So then I stopped, but I had that interest. Then when I was writing the kokorozashi essay for the MBA application, then I recalled that my motivation. Then I wrote that. And sorry, slide. This is that's excerpt from my kokorozashi essay. So my vision is more Japanese people to take up global leadership position in every field. My career plan is to start up a small business that offers educational and experience program to global leaders fluent in multinational, multilingual, multicultural context, blah, blah, blah. Besides the idea to immediately start up a business option is, so I was already talking about starting a business upon graduation when I applied to the MBA. Yeah, so that was my kokorozashi at the entrance. Yeah? Then our third story is conviction to start, humility to stay. Yeah? And when we started the company. So again, my time from 1991 to 2021, I was scientist and then marketing for 3.5 years. Then I started education company. So that's 2021. I was studying pre-MBA. And 2022 October, that's my first term in GLOBIS, right, MBA. I already applied the G Challenge. Yeah, G Challenge, how to call it, the business idea contest, yeah? Just by myself. Because I saw the G Challenge, oh, that's interesting, I must, because I was told, you get at least a feedback, yeah? So I applied, yeah? Just learned, marketing and business, a little bit accounting, yeah? So I submitted. At that time, I was taking the venture management course, yeah? Timothy Connor was the lecturer, yeah? And I think it was day 5 or day 6. I said, yeah, I just applied to the G Challenge, Then he said, do you have a team? No, just myself. Oh yeah. Oh then, do you want to make a pitch? I said, oh okay. In the class. Yeah. So he said, yeah, Toshi, you do the pitch. Yeah. Okay, I pitched. Not very good, but 2 people wanted to join and understand more. So actually, 2 people didn't actually continue, but 1 person actually introduced Makoto. Yeah. He was from Japanese side of MBA. Expert of finance. Then he stayed with me. Yeah. So then so that was this, right? Then yeah, G Challenge, PhD. Yeah. Then somewhere the connection is loose. Okay. All right. Then June 2023, I was in the ELM, entrepreneurial leadership course. So basically, it's a book reading course, and you have to read 1 book every class. Yeah, start early.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And And on day 6, you need to make the personal mission statement presentation, like 3 minutes or 4 minutes. So I prepared very well, and actually maybe 6 person came to me and I want to know more about your idea. So that's how I started. Oh, this probably we can start as a company. So that was it. Then January 2024, so we launched the company, and then March we created the website. We published the website. I was still in BSF, our marketing manager, right? And because we published the website, then I found the BSF's rule of employment says if you are the board member of another company, you have to quit. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. So that's why I was honest. The next day morning, I published the website. I just called my manager and the HR director. Hey, I want to have a meeting. Yeah. Here's what's happening, and I think I need to quit. Yeah. Then they said, "Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Yeah. Well, then actually, HR director says, "Well, it's a now new era. So we're trying to change that rule." And okay. And actually, I continued. Okay, because it was lucky, because I didn't have any sales at all, right? Then, about 3 months later, June. So actually, HR and my manager came to me and Toshi, I want to know your plan. Of course, I told in March, eventually I will quit, right? I don't know when, yeah? But then came to me, June, tell me your plan, okay? Of course, yeah? Then, okay, it's now time to decide, yeah? Then, yeah, I talked with my mentor. Then he was actually the president of BSF Japan, yeah? So then he suggested to me at least try to continue until December. Then you get the bonus. And because I told we don't have a customer yet, yeah. So I hope until then probably we get some sales started picking up. Then actually it didn't pick up. We stayed flat. We said failed, stayed flat. Yeah. Then actually, decided to leave by end of December. Then I actually became sick. I became sick, mentally sick. It's I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about work. So probably if I look back now, my decision making was pretty bad. Yeah. Yeah, probably you can tell, right? My decision making was pretty bad, yeah. But I tried to make things right, yeah. But was not doing well, yeah, because I was mentally sick. I actually met a psychiatrist, yeah, and I was prescribed with a sleeping pill, yeah. So I was taking that for several weeks, yeah.
Can you develop your decision-making process? You said it was bad, but how bad? Why was it bad?
How bad? It was probably not, my logical thinking or critical thinking was not great at that time, probably. Yeah. If I look back, why we didn't do this, why we didn't do that? Yeah.
The planification was,
Huh?
your planification for the future was not so good. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, planning as well as something happened. Let's say we launched marketing, right? We tried to attract students and parents to register. It didn't. Nobody came. Yeah, and so what to do? That kind of what to do is the decision, right? Or do more research. You want to try more or pivot completely, or that kind of decision was very poor. We didn't have a deep enough discussion. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So right. So that's why I think tour. Then it took 2 months or so since I started to feel better and better, a little bit better and better. At that time, actually, we have Wakasugi-san, Wakasugi-san, one of the lecturers in Japanese, right? He actually published interesting book about self-compassion, because he's a PhD about that research area. So I bought that book, and it was very great help, self-compassion. So I started practicing in the morning run, then stop at the park and meditated and reflected, that self-compassion practice. So it took several weeks to actually come back to realize me, who am I, what's my motivation, what's my, really kokorodashi. And I come back to, okay, now I already decided this is it, right? Then November was the graduation. The next day of the graduation was my last day in the BSF. Yes. That was just a coincidence, yeah? And then since then, we are 100% fully committed to this business. Yeah? Then just wanted to introduce my team. Yeah? Right. Becky. You have seen that Becky, right? Yeah? She was the one really started in helping this, program, because she's a professional curriculum developer as well as the language teacher. Yeah, language researcher as well, right? And Makoto is CFO. So that's 3 of us, who's still here since the start. And Toshi he's from Japanese GLOBIS. He's in Kyushu. Yeah? He actually supported my presentation in the ASCA conference. So I got if you know the Power Night, it's the 1 week before the ASCA conference. I got the Power Night, the presentation time. So he was a supporter, yeah. And since then he is supporting this business. And Shinichi here, yeah. He joined April with a lot of business, international business and marketing sales experience. And Toru is also, he's born in the US and 40 years in global business and hospitality industry business and the coaching business. So these are current core member. And we have also the academic team, the teachers and education researchers, to helping from the curriculum side. And we have the international business side, and she's from Libya. Helping us connecting with the United Nations or JICA. So now back into this. So we're doing this, right? Authentic leadership development for the kids, youth, or adult recently. Yeah. And in English communication, English language skill, as well as entrepreneurship. So that's what we are doing. We're fully committed with this, and we don't teach English, but we use English as a platform. Yeah. For youth, actually, it's a immersive English-based program for entrepreneurship. Yeah, entrepreneurial mind, more like an open mind, critical thinking, all kind of things. Yeah, and we recently started adults, business. So we're trying to help the corporate who needs to develop employee, for more like a global readiness, yeah. As well as pre-MBA students, okay. Then we have actually created the 4 days course for pre-MBA person who needs English skills to perform better in the MBA class. Okay, this is 2 hours, 4 days course. Okay, yeah. So it's specifically designed for the non-English speakers to be better performing in the class. Yeah, more like it's not just English skill, but cultural difference, experience culture difference. Be ready to speak up. Yeah. So if you're interested in this, just let me know. Okay, that's become sales pitch, but I cannot do the sales pitch here. Yeah. So any questions? Sorry, 1 hour. Anything? Or comments?
Just because when we met earlier this year, like, what I'm thinking about now is especially with the youth and entrepreneurship, how about the local regions in Japan?
How about the local region in Japan?
なんか地方創生向け。
地方創生? Local
Because of
vitality.
the younger,
Yeah.
there's not enough youth in the local regions as
Right.
as a business idea.
Yes, actually that's one of the main focus. So we're trying to offer the program to a secondary school in English. Yeah. Yes. David.
So you talked about your kokorozashi that you developed at GLOBIS as MBA.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in your kokorozashi before, and how many times have you changed your kokorozashi over the?
Oh, how many times changed? So my first kokorozashi was science, right? Biotechnology, right? Then I became very, very interested in science itself. Then I'm not sure if I can say it's a kokorozashi. When I switched job from Dow to P&G, I wanted to continue in the American company. It's more like a globally meaningful work. So that's one. Then actually the adult diaper became our really the kokorozashi for everybody who worked on in that category. Yeah. But it didn't continue, but the company sold the business. Then this in education. Yeah.
Can I ask more specifically on that, piggybacking off of it?
Yeah.
How much did it develop from when you started, when you applied and wrote your, like the excerpts from your kokorozashi to like now, or even like last year when you started the company? Like, did it change a lot between there, like during GLOBIS, or?
It didn't change in my case. It's I'm continuing exactly what I wrote. Yeah. But when we launched the company, actually the vision was not just limiting to the Japan market, but globally, but just starting in Japan. That's a little difference. Then later, at that time, the initial model was 3 pillars: global mindset, critical thinking, leadership, and the base is English communication skill. So that was the model, but we changed it to that, the English communication skill, authentic leadership, and the entrepreneurship. That's a change.
Just to ping pong, because we're in a full-time MBA, so it'd be interesting to have your opinion on how GLOBIS shaped your kokorozashi, because it seems like it was very shaped by what you learned at GLOBIS. So what would you say to us who are developing our kokorozashi now? What did you learn the most at GLOBIS that helped you really define it?
So, right. First thing I remember is the LEV, leadership ethics, ethics and values, yeah. So that is the time that you have to really dig into yourself, yeah. And through the 360-degree feedback, and there's an interesting framework in the template what's the immunity to change. Means, I know I don't like this part of myself, why I cannot change. So there is the way to dissect why I cannot change, and then you realize, oh, that's probably the root cause. Then you can start working on. So yeah, that was very, very helpful. Yeah. And of course, a lot of case studies, like particularly the social venture management. The case study is very inspiring. Yeah. You had a question, yeah?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for the presentation.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see the progress as well. Basically, you decided, as far as I understood, to create a startup because you spotted a problem, first of all, in yourself, and secondly, to the wider Japanese country. But I would like to ask you more about the roots of the problem because we followed like the SIBS program from GLOBIS in China. SIBS, like
SIBS
yeah, yeah, yeah.
program. Mm-hmm.
So what was like discussed there was that basically the country is serving mostly its people rather than serving the world. So do you think it's the same phenomenon here in Japan? So to put it that way, that Japanese people are only trying to serve their country internally rather than going global. So therefore they don't care, I would say, to like learn a new language or go abroad or try new things. Like I'm European, so I want to say that in Europe it's really easy to move from one country to the other. But okay, considering also the geographical location of Japan and how far it is from other countries. So yeah, I would like to know a bit more about that, if you have thoughts.
The codes, right?
Yeah.
You're asking codes, right? Probably, this is my opinion, is probably lack of English language communication skill is probably large, probably significant factor. The other thing is the education itself. Yeah, education itself, pretty much curriculum based. Basically you are expected to get to the answer faster. Yeah.
Like an obsolete style of learning.
Learning, there's an answer is here, how to get here, rather than, try to understand the world. What's the problem right now? Yeah. So that's why it doesn't develop the mind to be interested in what's happening around the world. Yeah. The other thing is probably Japan is very homogeneous. Yeah. And the way typical kids were raised by parents and in that school is, oh, you don't do this, because nobody's doing this, right? Behave as the same as others. That's how we were raised. Yeah. And nobody's saying that, just to be quiet. Yeah. Be the same as others. That's why, we are very comfortable within Japan. But once you get out, a lot of people are uncomfortable. Yeah. Probably for Japanese, pretty much high degree of uncomfortable than probably other countries' people. Yeah, Jonathan.
Sorry, so may I ask then in some way, is your kokorozashi or the mission of your organization, for example, to help Japanese people being in these top global positions escape like that? So that's the mission of kind of, yes, thinking only within the community. Because I think it's interesting. I know of there's an organization called Caritas, actually, so I'm referring to the Catholic institution. It's like the NGO branch of the Vatican to do social work. And up until recently, it was always headed by a European. So the Pope randomly decided to, I guess not randomly, no, but with good cause, because of knowing his background, decided to appoint the Archbishop of Tokyo to this post, which is quite strange, like for, I guess, the Europeans. Like, is that the goal then inside your organization, to help Japanese like entrepreneurs, leaders escape the kind of bubble?
Probably I can say that, yes, right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look at, for example, like I actually check the data. For example, like what is Fortune Global 500 companies, right? You know, here's an American company. Here's lots of Chinese company. Of course, most of the Chinese companies, the CEO is Chinese, and most of the American CEO is American. But actually, not everybody. Right? So some are, you know, I think it was Singaporean companies from Australia, or like a French companies from India, or 2 American companies are from India, right? Post-India, Google, Microsoft, these are from Americanized Indian. Right? So, but American company, Toyota is one, right? It's Japanese, right? And if you look at the big companies, most of the Japanese companies are Japanese. Yeah. Yeah, that's just data, right? Because for me, probably you guys experience the company is typically more like a mixed workers, right? Typically. But Japanese company is pretty Japanese. Yeah. Any comments or questions or yes, Toshi.
Maybe I am, well, because Japanese, sorry, language barrier.
Yeah.
Yes. My question is, do you have a plan next 5 or 10 years or some KPI? Your
Companies,
company?
KPI. We don't have a clear KPI yet. We're just trying to start which direction to start. Of course, we have a vision, but which business channel to start, which one actually starts popping up. Yeah. Once we start, we should come back to, you know, okay, what's the 5-year plan? But we don't yet. Yes, Sarah.
Just thinking, my nephew is we're trying to find a juku for them.
Juku.
And for middle school to high school, and so we found that for public schools, 70% of the students are going to juku.
Which grade?
This is for middle school, but
Middle school.
he's second year now. And he needs a lot. Anyways,
Yeah.
so seeing how basically everyone goes to juku, how I can imagine it's hard for parents to find the time for this extra.
Right.
You know, they have juku, they have swimming, they have
Yeah.
eikaiwa.
Yeah.
It can be hard to find the time for like what seemingly unnecessary option.
Right. Yes. So that's, you know, that's what we found. Actually, we started as a B2C business.
Yeah.
Nobody came.
Yeah.
You know, all the interviews, you know, I learned, yeah, it's nice to have, but it's a Juku is a cram school for entrance exam. So Juku is a priority, and I understand, right? That's why recently we actually switched to B2B, you know, offering program to school. Because the other way to say is, I feel guilty to try to sell this kind of program to parents because that's what the school should do. Yeah. 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 Yes.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a potential customer because I'm currently a MBA student.
Oh yeah.
So
Nice.
maybe I need to know.
Good to know. Yeah.
My question is, I think you succeeded as top scientist in your company before.
Yeah.
So I think you had some path to pursue that way as scientist.
Yeah.
But you change your career
Yeah.
in later of your career,
Yeah.
maybe later 50s.
Mm-hmm.
So,
56.
Yeah,
when I
so
changed.
that is quite brave, I think.
Yeah.
So what is your motivation? What is your mindset to change your career suddenly from
Yeah.
in that
Thanks for the question. Yeah.
situation?
So that's what I said. You know, my time is limited. right? How many more years I can be healthy and I can contribute, do something meaningful. Yeah, that's one thing. And I cannot actually imagine just enjoying the vacationing or traveling. I just cannot imagine me doing. Okay, I want to do something meaningful. Yeah.
When did you start to think about this? So,
The education?
yeah, this kind of business. You want to start this kind of business. When?
That was probably 2018, maybe 2017.
So you had.
I had.
Then you joined GLOBIS.
Yes. Right. Yeah. For actually, after I came back in 2021, I actually forgot for a few years about my education, interest in education. But when I was writing, that's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
So you recognize.
Yeah. 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 Yes, me.
Two questions.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier about mastering a language. So for babies, it'll take about 3 years to
Yeah.
master a language. How about in your curriculum? How long would it take for a student to master a language? And second question, do you think this approach would also be applicable for non-Japanese speakers who want to learn Japanese? Because we've got potential customers here.
Yes. Yeah, right. So I think it's gonna take a long time. Yeah. So the curriculum is to try to help people understand what you have to do. Okay. It's each student needs a discipline to spend long hours. Yeah. There's no shortcut. It's scientifically proven there's no shortcut for language learning. Yeah. So that's why I expect, to get to a certain level, you need 5,000 hours, Of course, adults have learned, for example, Japanese, lots of vocabulary already, somewhere in the brain. It's, prefrontal cortex, right? But the language is here, so you have to relearn in a different way. Yeah. And the second question was, sorry, what was it?
About Japanese language.
Japanese language, it's the same. It's the same, yeah, right. Any language is the same. Basically, you need to use it for the purpose of, trying to understand something you're interested in. Okay? If you put a purpose to learn Japanese language as a purpose, then you cannot actually learn. Because to learn a language, you need a language already. For example, if you need to learn mathematics, right? You need a language. When you need to learn science, you need a language. That's how your brain memorize the things. But to learn a language, basically learning a language is actually developing the mental model, let's say, in the brain through usage. Yeah. So that's a theory. It's recognized theory in the teaching society, but it's not well known in Japan. But in the US and Europe, it's very well known. Yeah. So you have to use it. So that's why, if you look back, I was reading magazine that I was interested in. I was using, probably the MBA is a good place to use the language because you're interested in learning. Yeah. Learning subject, and you have to use the language that you're trying to master. That's the probably best place. Yes.
Yes, for your business
Yeah.
now, what is the most important thing you learned from GLOBIS to
Most important
use
things.
in your business? Right.
Most important things to, of course, all the courses are interested. Probably the most important thing is what I learned about myself.
Which is?
Means, my, shortcomings, and then some, confidence that okay, I can overcome my shortcoming. That kind of things. Yeah. Then, well, the other thing is, means I can learn still. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you for nice nice lecture. Thank you so much. I have experience to live outside in Japan, in the United States, and it is more easy to communicate in daily life, but it is very difficult to make an impact or influence some other people or to the society or to other people with different cultures. In your company, probably your vision is including the influence.
Yes.
What is your vision? Could you explain a little bit? Thank you so much.
You mean our vision to influence?
Yes.
Of course, we want to develop the people into the leader, influential. Yeah. Well, I'm not talking about like a Steve Jobs or those kind of things, right? More like in a small group, it's influential leader is influential. Yeah? You know, it's, the scale doesn't matter. Yeah? But the influence, there is a course. Right? Is it the power and the influence? Yeah. So how to influence? You know, so that's a very important skill. Yeah, actually, particularly across cultural boundary. It's not easy. But the cross-culture management is another good course to understand the cultural difference. So understanding those, that's very helpful. Yeah. Yeah. So we are trying to develop that the people who can influence, then move things forward together with the people. Is that answering your question?
But it is also a part of the GLOBIS MBA class, right?
Right. So we're targeting more like a little younger generation
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
But for younger people, it is very important for to have act to influence.
Yes.
Yeah. Even a smaller situation.
Right.
I think so.
Yeah. For example, a Japanese school doesn't teach those, right? Or the school does not teach communication skill at all. Yeah. Or influence or express your opinions. Yeah. So that's why it's important, to supplement with this.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Just another comment then. So some of it is also communication, kind of bearing and kind of a posture toward leadership, right? Your organization. So I wonder if there's not a lot of value also for revitalizing, like the kind of going back to something that someone else said earlier, revitalizing or working with the local communities. There's not so much youth that are maybe doing. I mean, there are some that are doing influential things or productive things in a lot of areas of Japan which are suffering economically because of demographics. I wonder if going to your school might add a kind of catalyst of talent and good personality to those areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. That's part of it, of course, yes. I think that's why we say authentic leadership, right? So it's, what are you interested in? What do you think is important? It's every child has different interest, right? So then I think nothing is wrong, right? So that's how to maximize their motivation or interest to guide them, and we guide them is probably the most powerful way to grow, kids as well as adults. So that person's interest is more local community issue or more like a local bullying issue, or let's go for it, right? Of course, that's probably a little bit separate from needs of English, but that's fine, yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you for your presentation.
I would ask that I think you always have good motivation throughout your life, learning English, learning science, and now you're doing new business, challenging new business. And I would like to know where your motivation comes from throughout your life, because I think not everyone can have this strong motivation all the time. So I really like to know where your motivation comes from.
Where does my motivation comes from? It's I think one thing is probably I declare publicly, and the failure becomes also the public failure, right? That's one way, actually. I think if I look back, I was doing this since I was a little boy. You know, I declare something, then I have to do it, right? That's one thing. Right, because I cannot go back, right? Yes, Kate.
So, starting a new, first thank you for your presentation.
Sure.
And starting a new business would, for me personally, it would make me scared.
Oh yeah.
It would, like the uncertainty is so much, not just for myself but among my team.
Yeah.
My question was, how do you communicate or talk or motivate or find a way to get out of fear when you find challenge in your team? What's the process you do to help your team and yourself keep going while facing such challenge, especially in the start where you have to find the sale, where you have to find the target, and
Right. We had so much up and down, yeah. And actually, how many people left from our team, right? You know?
3 or 5.
Yeah, right. Then actually, I have a very good, you know, of course, Makoto is one of the person. This guy, Toshi, he is very sharp, logical thinking guy, and I would say I'm scolded by him, a young guy, right? You know, I had a very straight feedback from him, you know, often. So but he's usually right. So that's how I can improve how we operate, yeah. Like how to make a decision, how to manage a meeting, very basic thing, you know, how to prioritize, yeah, those kind of things. So we're learning, you know, yeah. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Do you have like a process that your team comes together to motivate together to keep yourself going?
Motivate. We did in July. We called a whole company meeting. It's all the volunteers. By the way, everybody's volunteer. Okay, so far, right? That was one, and I think good reminder. I think we need to do that more often. Yeah. 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 Thanks for the question. Yeah. It's actually I very appreciate it because nobody's getting salary yet. Yeah. But we'll keep going. Yeah. So we want to be able to pay as soon as we start selling. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you for your presentation.
Yeah.
And I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
One question is, like, do you have any ideal shape of society you want to create? I want to know. And then one more question is like, what is the most important aspect of choosing your partners?
Partner. Okay.
I mean,
You mean a team partner? Team member?
Team partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the society. My vision is Japan to be more integral part of the global society. Yeah. Because I think Japan has unique, very special, quality, like so much, insistence into the quality, right? So that has a value. For example, why don't you systematize the quality control, then sell the quality control package to, everybody else, right? And how to manage the time punctuality of the train, those kind of, there must be some system. So that's Japan. Once Japan becomes the integral part, then adds a lot more value to the world, and which is not done enough. And that's why a lot of foreigners come to Japan to look at Japan. Whoa, Japan's great, right? But we should have more opportunity to actually contribute to the outside. So that's Japan in the world. And sorry, what second question was? Important aspects. Teammates. It's from time to time it's a difference. Okay. Initially it was more like a motivation, the more like a resonate with my, the mission that we're saying, right? Plus the skill set, yeah. And more recently, when Shinichi-san joined, we realized our team, these three at the time, right? Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the time. We are all, deep. The person who deep into specific thing. I'm the scientist. Makoto-san is financial expert, right? Toshi is also digital guy, or marketing, those kind of things. Yeah. So very specific things. The creator, the product guy. Yeah. We didn't have more like a sales guy to try to reach out to people and easy to get along with the people. Yeah. So that's why we said, we need that kind of person. That's why we started to look for, and Shinichi-san joined. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Yeah, maybe it's
Okay.
yeah. Thanks for all the questions.
Thank
yeah.
you very much. Okay, you guys might have more questions to Toshi. And yeah, if you haven't, please give back to
Please
Toshi.
feedback, yeah. And if you're interested in this course, just leave your name into the form. Yeah, this feedback form goes to me as well as to the GLOBIS, usual form.
Yes, about his presentation and about this event in general, please. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much. Round of applause to Toshi.
Thank you.